It's time for TLHAM Sports Talk with host Zach Diller and his panel of experts, Mason Council, Chandler Lewis, Pfeiffer Glenn, and William Craddock.
Welcome to the Jacket Talk Show. I'm your host, Zach Dillard. I'm going to hand it over to Mason. He's going to talk about the first round of the college football playoffs.
Yeah, this is a very interesting college football playoff this year. First year with 12 teams. And the first round, honestly, was not very good. Every game was pretty much a blowout, not really competitive. I mean, the most competitive game was Texas-Clemson, and really Clemson never had a shot in that game. Ohio State, they made early case for a national championship in that blowout, dominating win over Tennessee at home. And then, SMU, Penn State, another blowout. SMU, honestly, I don't think they belonged in the playoff in the first place. First year in the ACC, they did all right, but there was just no room for them in the playoff. And then the Indiana and Notre Dame game, it looks the closest, but Notre Dame they dominated that game from start to end. And, no really good game, so it'll be interesting to see, what the committee does next year, see if they change up the format at all, if they keep the top four conference champs as a bye week or not, because honestly, this has not been a very entertaining
Yeah, I'll second that, especially the Tennessee-Ohio State game. You see that Ohio State hasn't had a problem with any of its first two opponents. They blew out the number one seed, and it shows that they're a very talented team.
What I'm starting to look at is further on will they move away from playing the first round at the home site, see if they go to a neutral site, because a home field advantage gives you a lot of advantage.
Yeah, I agree with that. At Penn State, that stadium's probably crazy, white out, everything.
All right, we're going to go to the second round games, which is the Peach Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, and the Sugar Bowl. Chandler, how about you talk about the Texas-Arizona State game?
Yeah, for a minute there, I thought Arizona State had it. Going into two overtimes, played a pretty big role. And which team was it that missed the field goal?
Texas missed 2 field goals.
They didn't have to go into overtime if they made those field goals.
Also, did y'all see the thing after the game where it bounced in the field goal?
Yeah.
That should have Arizona State should have won the game.
I did see that. I saw that.
And then the non-targeting call on Michael Taft.
Yeah. I think Arizona State should have won the game, but
regardless of that result for Arizona State, we talk about Cam Scadaboo, absolute stud.
yeah.
One passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown. Kid's a player.
I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of him, but, you can't hide the fact that he's one of the best running backs in the country, and he's very talented.
I'd say he's second behind Ashton Jeanty.
Yeah,
definitely.
All right, Pfeiffer, what do you talk about the Rose Bowl and Ohio State and Oregon? What did you think about that game?
It's clear that Ohio State just blew them out. Oregon really didn't stand a chance the whole game. Once they got ahead, they were ahead the rest of the game. They really never got close. Oregon being the number 1 seed, that just looks good on Ohio State. Looks really good on them. And then their freshman wide receiver, he's a baller.
Jeremiah Smith on the first drive, 42-yard touchdown. Kid's going to be special.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any defense in the remainder of the playoffs that can slow that kid down.
Texas secondary is going to have a tough day.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what did you think about the Penn State Boise State game?
Kind of a boring game at first, but kind of picked up towards the end. Penn State just kind of took it, blew them off. Ashton Jeanty couldn't really do much against the Penn State defense. They have one of the best fronts in the country, so it was kind of hard getting around them.
I think the score. I think Boise State had their times where they could get some points, and they just never could. The game, it looks like it was a blowout, but Boise State, they had possession when they needed to. They just couldn't score against that great Penn State defense.
Yeah, they had some key turnovers that cost them.
Yeah, I think Penn State's defense is what won them this game. Their game plan going in to slow down Jeanty was impressive. I was hoping Jeanty was going to get that all-time rushing record, but Penn State slowed them down for sure.
Yeah.
And Penn State's got a great quarterback in Drew Aller.
Yeah.
He's a playmaker.
Still doesn't cut the fact that Jeanty should have won the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, Jeanty should have won the Heisman Trophy.
Absolute robbery there.
And then we had the All-State Sugar Bowl, Notre Dame, Georgia. Georgia just couldn't really get anything going. Notre Dame just kind of powered through the game. They had the kick return that I think put them up 23-10.
Yeah, I mean, Chandler, you want to talk about that game? I mean, I know you watched it.
Yeah, something special there in that game.
Yeah.
That going up into halftime, I mean, like Will said about the Penn State Boise State game, it was pretty boring. But right there, coming into the third quarter, Notre Dame had that kickoff return for a touchdown. I think that got the Notre Dame Fighting Irish going.
I mean, Georgia's going off backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Gunnar Stockton. Pretty tough for them to go out with their starting quarterback, but I mean, either way, they couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tough position for Georgia to be in. Yeah, Gunnar Stockton, he did all he could. You know, I think Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman had them boys ready, and I think he's gonna have them boys ready for the next round as well.
I mean, Riley Leonard's just gonna show him what he does.
Yeah, that dude's a stud.
Yeah.
So is Marcus Smart.
Marcus Freeman.
Marcus Freeman. Marcus Smart plays for the used to play for the Celtics.
Yeah.
That dude's a baller. But Marcus Freeman's one of the best coaches in the country by
All right.
far, if not
And,
the best.
We got the semifinals, which we got Penn State and Notre Dame tonight at 7:30, January 9th, and then tomorrow, January 10th, Ohio State at 7:30. We'll start off with the first game. What are y'all's predictions for Penn State and Notre Dame?
I got Notre Dame going up, probably thinking like 32 to maybe like 17, 32, 17.
Yeah, honestly, that's not a bad call because, I don't think Penn State has that great of an offense. They have a good defense, but I think Notre Dame will win the game.
I mean, Notre Dame's got one of the best secondaries in the country. They've got it on both sides of the ball. I do think Notre Dame will come out with the win in this game. We're looking at I think they'll go 28 to maybe 10 here. I just don't think Penn State will get anything really going for them, just how Georgia didn't get anything going for them. So I think Notre Dame goes on.
Yeah, I think this game will be very similar to the Notre Dame-Georgia game. I think Notre Dame, they'll come out and they'll suffocate Penn State's offense. I think if Penn State wants to have a chance at this game, Drew Aller's going to have to play out of his mind, which, I mean, he's very capable of doing. But I just think Notre Dame's going to be prepared on the defensive side of the ball. And, of course, Riley Leonard's going to do his thing on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, for sure. I think Penn State's fans also help them a good bit. I mean, that stadium pulse is banging in there. I mean, now they're playing at the Orange Bowl, so it's
Yeah.
about half and half. So, I mean,
All the way in
We
Miami.
are Penn State.
Oh. And then we got the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, January 10th at 7:30 on ESPN. Ohio State has the spread with under 6. So what do you think the Texas-Ohio State game is going to be like?
I think I believe this all year. Texas is a slight bit overrated. I say their offense is not as good as people think. They have good defense, but I think Ohio State will show them just like they have the past 2 games. It might be a blowout.
Yeah, they definitely got some momentum.
I think for one thing for Texas, what they're going to have to do is their offense is going to have to move on Ohio State's defense, which people have struggled in past games. Ohio State's got a really good defensive line, great secondary with Caleb Downs. But I just don't think Quinn Ewers is going to be able to do anything with Ohio State. And I just think Ohio State's offense is going to come out and just run through Texas. I think
Yeah.
Ohio State wins.
I mean, Texas, they have had some good games against Clemson and Arizona State, but Ohio State has 2, and they've blown out number 1 Oregon and number 9 Tennessee, and those are both really solid teams. I mean, that freshman wide receiver, Jeremiah Smith, is that his name?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I mean, that gets a baller.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the Ohio State roster, I mean, they basically built this team to be a national championship or bust.
Yeah.
I mean, all this NIL money it's getting ridiculous. But
it's ruining college football, man.
it is.
Man,
you know,
I honestly, they've taken away the purpose of NIL. It used to be going off the fact of NIL. Let's change the subject a little bit. NIL. It used to be like you can sign with a car brand or something, but now you just give straight cash out, and yeah, it's ruining the sport.
I mean, it used to be just play for your team. Now we got people transferring just for the money.
I mean, I don't mind the fact that you can go to college and get a brand deal with somebody, but the fact that they're getting $13 million is
Yeah.
a little crazy.
I mean,
Bryce
Travis
Underwood.
Hunter's a nice example of that.
I mean, Bryce Underwood flipped to Michigan for $13 million.
Yeah.
I don't know
And
if
I-
y'all saw the rumors of Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers, but there's rumors he could stay in college and not go to the draft, and he could get
I mean, he got
millions.
tampered for $6 million to transfer somewhere else. So
That's insane.
NIL's kind of ruining to play for your school because
Sure.
everybody's transferring out.
But respect to Ohio State for playing the game right, using the
Yeah.
NIL the right way because they have a star-studded lineup. I mean,
I
it's
mean,
paid off.
Both the running back, Judkins and Henderson.
Yeah.
I mean, they got Abuka. So I mean, their roster's pretty full. I mean, there's no reason why they shouldn't win.
Yeah, I mean, talking about flipping, I mean, can we talk about the transfer portal? I mean, what do y'all think
I
about
mean,
that?
I mean,
How
Dabo
about Clemson?
Sweeney. Dabo Sweeney has entered the transfer portal.
Yes.
look out.
Finally,
That's
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
been about time.
Look
that's a
out.
big deal.
Got a big old Alabama guy coming in soon. Purdue.
Purdue. I mean, he's
There's
got
another guy.
he's got a linebacker,
Yeah.
a wide receiver, and
Tight
and,
end.
and an edge rusher.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you start using, I mean, if you can use the portal right, it's good for you. But
I mean,
I can see not using it like too much, but I think Dabo's using it the right way
Yeah.
for sure.
I think all 4 teams that are in the semifinals of the playoff, I mean, they've all obviously used the portal, but they've used it the right way.
Yeah. Like, I don't, going back on what Pfeiffer said, like, if you recruit players coming out of high school, like, that's good, but there's also a happy median in getting players out of the transfer portal and making your team better because they have experience and stuff. So
Yeah.
I mean, it is good experience. But like with the transfer portal, how it is now, like you're not like developing players out of like high
Yeah.
school. Like
yeah,
you're just bringing in other like Clemson. I mean, they'll develop players, but other teams like they'll just get guys and transfer them in and not develop like
Colorado.
yeah for like like Notre Dame's brought in a quarterback in the past 2 years. I mean, they're not developing their freshman quarterbacks that come in. So
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out next year when
Yeah.
Riley Leonard's gone.
Also, like I feel like that affects like some teams like Colorado because like if you're recruiting kids out of high school and you're getting transfers from like other schools and they're like 2 years, that's gonna make like the kids from high school not want to go to
Yeah.
the school.
Yeah.
So
we think it's going to be Ohio State and Notre Dame in the championship.
yeah.
yeah, I agree with that one.
So, what do we think? We got the championship is January 20th at 7:30. So we think Ohio State and Notre Dame. What do we think goes on in that game?
I've been saying the whole playoff, I think Notre Dame has the best chance to beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
I think this will probably be the best national championship matchup we could get.
For sure.
Just
Yeah, I think
because-
it'll be a rubber match.
Yeah,
I think it'll just be whoever's offense can spark first. I mean,
Yeah.
because both defenses are really good. So I just think whoever's offense comes out first and hot. I mean, that's who's gonna.
I think it also comes down to coaching. I think Ryan Day, he's a fraud. Marcus Freeman is legit. So I
Ryan Day doesn't win the big games.
think, hey, Michigan 0-4, man. What's going on?
I mean,
I mean, after what I saw that the fake punt into a false start for Georgia, I mean, that was pretty special on his part.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
that was pretty snaz.
And we'll get if it's Notre Dame Ohio State, we'll get a rematch of last year whenever Notre Dame had 10 people on the field in the final play of the game for Ohio State to run it in,
Wow.
win the game. So I think this
Oh,
could
wow.
So this could be like a real. I mean, I think that'll be the best matchup that we have because Penn State's already played Ohio State, and Ohio State won that game by a lot. So I mean, I just think Notre Dame Ohio State is going to be the best matchup we have here.
Let's get some score predictions for that game. Go ahead, Pfeiffer.
For the high State.
If it's
Notre Dame.
Ohio State,
Ohio
if it's
State.
Ohio State Notre Dame.
I think Notre Dame's gonna come out on top. I've been rooting for them for a while, so I think I'm getting 35-21 Notre Dame.
Yeah, I think it'll be a close game. Notre Dame will probably win by a field goal, but Notre Dame struggle with their field goal percentage and stuff. So hopefully they'll make it.
Notre Dame. They do have the Mitch Jeter, the transfer from South Carolina,
Yeah.
kicking for him now. Good thing for him. I mean, transferred to the right place. Now he could be playing for a national championship.
Yeah, I hope he misses every field goal, and I hope he kicks the ball 5 inches behind and misses every time.
But I mean, I'd say Ohio State win. I think Ohio State Notre Dame. I think it's going to be a really good game, and I think Ohio State ends up winning maybe 31, 28, 27, somewhere
Yeah.
around there.
Somewhere around there.
I got Notre Dame probably 24-21 field goal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Ohio State here with a key win to win a national championship. Put Ryan Day. You know, he was on the chopping block, but I think it's gonna assert his place at Ohio State, and I think they're gonna win 38-24.
I like that.
Thanks for joining us on Yellow Jacket Sports Talk.